Ladies and gentlemen, every single day in South Africa is an absolute treat, and today is no different. The GNU is on the brink of collapse. In fact, this may be the closest we've ever been to a breakup of the GNU since its formation. And there's been some touch and go moments here and there. But just earlier today, about 4 hours ago, Ramaphosa announced the departure of Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Andrew Whitfield. Now, we would then find out a little bit later on, and I was literally sitting on this, waiting for more information to come out so that I could make this video. John Steenhuisen was then the one that actually said why this happened, because we had no idea. All we had was the whole spiel of, oh, we thank you for your time, but you're no longer necessary or needed here. John Steenhuisen, in an address to Parliament, would then make it clear that Andrew Whitfield was removed from office because he didn't ask permission from the presidency to go on an international trip. Steenhuisen then reveals that not only did Andrew Whitfield email the presidency about the trip and heard nothing back, but even once he had gone on the trip, he emailed the presidency again to apologize for going on the trip without permission, but that the trip was important and he had to go as deputy minister. Again, the presidency did not email him back, did not let him know that it was either okay or that there was a problem. And then this morning, Ramaphosa announced to Steenhuisen that he was going to fire Andrew Whitfield. Steenhuisen then asked President Ramaphosa if he could just give him 24 hours so that he could figure out what the hell was actually going on. At least in this speech to Parliament, Steenhuisen makes it sound like Ramaphosa agreed. He was like, okay, fine, take your 24 hours. 3 hours later, and he fired him.
Nice job, team.
Now, the DA is not taking this lying down. The Federal Council Chair, Helen Zille, immediately called a federal committee of the DA to figure out what the next steps will be. And we just found out that the DA calls for Simelane, Nabani, Malobu, and other ANC ministers fired within 48 hours. All of these ministers, by the way, are ministers that's implicated in the Zondo Commission, implicated in massive fraud within South Africa, and the DA is basically saying fire them or else. Now, this is where things get super interesting. The ANC is in a bit of a pickle here. The GNU, in fact, I would argue that this is the premier time for the DA to step out of the GNU. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. Well, it's not the nuclear option. It's the best thing for South Africa. It was never the best thing for South Africa. If you want to heal this country, things have to hit rock bottom, or it has to get to a point where the ANC has nowhere else to turn, and this is that moment. Let's quickly go through the scenarios here. If the DA announces tomorrow that they are stepping out of the GNU, the ANC does not have the votes, not with all of the other minority parties, to get over the 50% mark. Now, that leaves the ANC with a couple of scenarios. They could either go into what is known as minority government, so they govern, but they are a minority, which makes it incredibly hard to get anything else done, because everything you announce or everything that you sort of want to push will have to go through literally 60% opposition parties that are all looking for reasons to just say no to everything that you want to do. So that's not really a place where you want to be. Or the ANC has to go with MK. Now, MK is a bit of a problem for the ANC because of Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma is a known quantity within the MK, and he's very hostile to the ANC, specifically Ramaphosa. They have said before they will not go into the GNU unless Ramaphosa steps down. Since Ramaphosa doesn't want to step down, that leaves them in a bit of a pickle. Not to mention, the MK is currently the most unstable political party in South Africa with constant infighting. So that will just not fly. That leaves them with option 2, the EFF. Now, going with the EFF would definitely put them over the 50% mark, but there's a problem. The EFF is currently nuclear. You see, thanks to President Donald Trump and the world now knowing about the songs sung by EFF President Julius Malema, if the ANC, up until now, the ANC has been able to hide behind this sort of, well, it's not us singing the song, like we're not part of that party, right? And there's freedom of speech and freedom of expression in South Africa, apparently. I say apparently because if you're white and you tweet some unsavory things, you absolutely get taken to task and get sent to jail. But if you're black, you can sing "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer." But there is freedom of expression in South Africa, at least for black ministers who want to sing "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer." That works, at least for now, because the EFF is not in government nor in coalition with the ANC. Should the ANC go into coalition with the EFF, that then signals to Washington that the ANC not only does not sort of support the song or singing of "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer," the ANC supports it. In fact, the ANC endorses it because that party is now in government. It means Washington will instantly slap insane sanctions on South Africa. It probably means that the European Union, up until now rather friendly to South Africa, trying to sort of toe the line, will probably follow suit. Because while the ANC might get away with their, we're sort of children of Nelson Mandela, the EFF cannot. And no government in the world, at least non-rational government, would want to do business with a government where one party of that government sings songs like "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer." And personally, I think that's where we need to be right now. I don't see any other options. The ANC is in a corner, and if the DA is smart, they will use this to their advantage. Step out of the GNU, leave the ANC caught between a rock and a very hard place, and just watch as the chips fall where they may. Either the ANC cleans house, or the ANC chooses the nuclear option, which immediately signals sweeping sanctions against the whole of South Africa, as well as the Washington most likely upping the ante on the refugee options, and then including all minority South Africans in that deal, which means South Africa will basically bleed talent at a massive rate. Fundamentally, we have to hope that that is exactly what happens here, because the only way to get rid of this government is for the country to feel as if there is literally no other option. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this. This is massive and it's exciting. As always, hit the like if you liked it, if you didn't, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.